members to help welcome him into the world and to help take care of him. And I think I already met about 6 or 7 babysitters that are in line for some work over the next 2 months. But Dean and Phil, thanks for inviting me to the family home today for this special occasion and one of the most special days in young Benjamin's life, though I always joke we collectively hope he has no memory of today whatsoever. Today we carry out one of the oldest traditions in our faith, and in much the same way as our patriarchs and matriarchs of old, we will enter Benjamin into a covenant with God, the Brit Milah, that he may live long in good health, that he may bring pride to his family, that he may find love, prosperity, and peace. We stand here today before God to perform this mitzvah. Baruch haba, blessed is he who enters. We're going to ask Grandmother Patty to bring Benjamin into the room and place him into the arms of his mother and father. One of the longest Bris walks ever. But he is a king and a prince. And so, there we go.
So what's new?
Okay. Preferably to you guys.
Hey, Grandpa.
Wow. Perfect child.
That's perfect.
Yeah, you get him now?
Sorry, did I get in your way?
A couple pictures?
Yeah.
The rite of circumcision has been enjoined upon us, our covenant with God, and the Torah is written, and God said to Abraham, you shall keep your covenant, you and your children after you. He who is 8 days old shall be circumcised, every male throughout our generations. May we, like our ancestors, obey the commandment of God, walk before me, and reach for perfection. Benjamin, you are your parents' dreams realized, their hopes fulfilled. You are the latest and best chapter in the unfolding lives of your mother and father. You are a bridge over which we who welcome you can gaze from this day into future days, from our generation into yours. Benjamin is the newest link in the endless chain of our people's history. A new son of Israel has come, and with him comes a great promise. In his soul is the potential to bring greatness into this world. He brings blessings into our lives as he reminds us that the world is not yet complete. We each share in the task of perfecting the world. It is said that Elijah, one of the earliest Hebrew prophets, is commanded by God to be present at every Brit Milah. Mom, I'm going to have you walk over to the empty chair right next to Grandpa, and that's going to you're going to just lean over. You're going to lean over symbolically that chair just to bless him. Elijah's the prophet who bears good tidings, just for a moment. And then Grandpa Mike will sit down in the chair in high honor of the Sandak and take his grandson in his arms. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kedishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu al hamilah. Blessed is the Lord our God, ruler of the universe, by whose vote we are hallowed, who has given us the mitzvah of circumcision. And Nona Phyllis? Probably the nicest Kiddush cup of the year. Alright. If you'd like to do the blessing over the wine.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen.
Amen. This is for you and for Mom and Dad. Do you think Benjamin wants to try some? If necessary. Okay. I'm not sure it'll be necessary.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lahachniso b'virato shel Avraham v'Sarah Avinu. Blessed is the Lord our God, ruler of the universe, by whose mitzvot we are hallowed, who commands us to bring our children into the covenant of Abraham and Sarah.
Trade you guys.
We dedicate our child to Torah, to a never-ending fascination with study and learning. With a book, he will never be alone. We dedicate our child to chuppah, to never-ending growth as a human being, capable of giving and receiving love. With loving family and friends, he will never be alone. We dedicate our child to Maasim Tovim, to a never-ending concern for family and community, justice and charity. While he cares for others, he will never be alone.
I think most of you all know that the yucky part, the circumcision part's been done, and I always make a special plea. This is really the important part, and it's important because you look around here and you see a lot of warm and loving faces, a lot of folks that are really rooting for this child and behind the family to make sure that everything goes well. And this is the baby naming portion, the real important part of the bris, or the brit milah. And Benjamin Landen Stone will carry the beautiful Hebrew name Binyamin Lebush Ben-Fishel V'Zimra. Our God and God of our people, sustain this child, and let him be known in the house of Israel as Binyamin Lebush Ben-Fishel V'Zimra. May he bring much joy to his parents in the months and years to come. As he entered into the covenant of Abraham and Sarah, so may he enter in the study of Torah, the blessing of a sanctified and loving relationship, and the practice of goodness. May the ones who blessed our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and our mothers, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah, bless this child and keep him from all harm. May his parents raise him to dedicate his life in faithfulness to God, his heart always receptive to Torah and mitzvot. Then shall he bring blessings to his people, his parents, and all the world. Mom and Dad, can you come with me over to your son? Dad, if you can put your hand on his forehead, and then Mom, you put your hand on your husband's head. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord look kindly upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord bestow favor upon you and give you peace. Together we all say, Amen. I think Mom or Dad has something to say. If you want to come back to your here.
Bear with me. I do give a speech once or twice every so often, but I rarely get to talk about my dad, so this one is going to be a little more about that. But first and foremost, Dean and I would like to thank our family for their love and support during the past year. We'd like to thank Mike and Patty for opening their home to host this historic event in young Benjamin's life. It's not easy to pull off a function of this size within a few days. What an amazing job they've done. We'd also like to thank my mother Phyllis and my sister Susie, as well as Dina's brother Jason and sister-in-law Laura, for helping us maintain this small but cohesive and devoted support system for Benjamin to grow in. Of course, you can't have a bris without a moil. We'd like to thank Dr. Stephen Lerman for ever so skillfully performing the procedure without ending any hopes Dina and I will ever have of becoming grandparents. And we'd really like to thank all of you for being here today. Your presence at this event is actually quite awe-inspiring. Dean and I would never have imagined this many people would come to our son's bris. But we thank you all for being here and helping to make this important day one that neither Dina nor I will ever forget. Benjamin's middle name, Benjamin's middle name, Landen, was named after my father, Leonard, who passed away in November of 1983. I'd like to take a brief moment to mention some of the characteristics I lovingly remember about my dad that we hope will be instilled in our little Benjamin. Growing up on the streets of Brooklyn in the 50s could have been a challenge for Lenny Stone, who was diminutive in stature. However, bullies always left him alone because he was tough as nails. He was very street smart and had a very charismatic way about him. People took to my dad, and he often took to them. You always wanted my dad on your side, because if he was, he'd likely be there forever. My dad was persistent and tenacious, proud and surprisingly emotional. He loved to laugh and was very funny. Benjamin's middle Yiddish name is Lebush. This was my dad's Yiddish first name, and it means lion. And like a lion, my dad was a ferocious and extremely loyal protector of the things he held dear, his family and his friends. But most of all, Lenny had a zest for living. He had a zest for life and living it. And he truly cared about people. We hope that as our Benjamin moves on through life, that he learns that living life to the fullest, appreciating those you love and who love you in return, and pursuing all your goals with passion and fervor can only lead to the best life any of us know how to live. We're already so proud of our son.
All right. We are going to just try to get some of the close family members that were honored for some pictures real quick, and then we're going to break for what smells like